when you look at the MIT physicist or engineer or so forth, who's pulling in big, big bucks from the Pentagon and the Energy Department, and making a wonderful living, and his kids are going to wonderful schools, and everything is just fine, you know, except he's making some kind of gas that's going to, or whatever he's making, you know. Basically, he lives in a community that mutually helps each other be empathic. The community of the empathic. We will not look at what we're doing. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like everyone salvages their conscience. They're doing right. By what? By doing their little tiny job meticulously. They never look to the end of what they're doing.
There was a smell at my house, and they called me and said, it's a pipe with like steam and bubbly stuff, and it really smells. And I'm like, all right, I'm on my way.
Yeah, well, you see how it's flapping. You can see, and there's stuff, you can see the stuff coming out of it.
But I do think that that's clear water, it looks like.
That's rainwater.
This is Mr. Gallagher, right?
No, getting.
I'm so
like
sorry.
Getting going?
Getting.
Oh, yes, I recall your name
Your
on
name?
the MDNR letter. My name is Robin Daly. I live over here in Spanish Village,
I'm the landfill site engineer. Had problems with the flare last night. I had crews work until 7 this morning.
Yeah.
So we weren't extracting the quantity of gas that we were extracting.
Yes.
But there's a few compounds in here that are very odorous. I call them perfume, landfill perfume.
Yeah, that's what I call when you bring out the odor neutralizer. You're perfuming the poison.
But it's not poison. It's kind of like the church lady here, okay? You know, she's got that expensive bottle of perfume. She can't smell herself anymore, so she puts a little more on, and she sits next to you, and she's got so much perfume on it, it's almost obnoxious, okay? So I call this is kind of like my church lady, all right? So my job is to control the gases that are going into the air, but a little, yes, I'm getting a whiff of it here.
Mr. Getting, people are really becoming ill.
But I'm not a doctor. I
But they're
can't
not
speak to that.
People are getting ill from it. Yeah,
All right.
we've seen the haul logs of what was dumped here. It's just
I have all the
absolutely,
receipts.
it's absolutely incredible. Some are not even listed. They're just like question mark unknown.
Spent a lot of time out here.
December 2010 is the first time that we were aware of conditions that may be subsurface smoldering, elevated temperatures, elevated carbon monoxide. In early 2012 or so, we were observing the failure of some of the wells from heat. The wells were starting to actually kind of topple over. There were areas where we started seeing portions of the landfill drop in elevation about 15 feet or so. You know, that's pretty dramatic settlement over the course of a year. You would start seeing cracks forming in the surface. We saw cracks that were, in some cases, a foot or two wide. We also observed odors getting out of those cracks. They had a failure of part of the landfill gas extraction system, and the areas where they had put black plastic down to try to capture some of the odors, they were pellowed out, you know, in some cases about 10 feet up in the air. You know, on the other side of that plastic is volatile organic compounds. In March 2013, I accompanied staff from the hazardous waste program, and you know, there were a couple hot spots that they found. They found radium-226 at the ground surface. So
does this stuff blow off into the air?
That's certainly, you know, one of the potential concerns.
Okay, joining me at the table, Robin Daly, a citizen activist you have become now around this issue, and also Russ Naki, Director of Field Communications and Public Affairs at Republic Services, the owner of Bridgeton Landfill,
Correct.
which is right next door. So thank you for being here. Robin, I'll start with you. As a resident who lives how close to Westlake Landfill?
Less than half a mile.
Less than half of a mile. And what have those last 4 years or so been like?
It's been a roller coaster ride from HELL. We don't know when we can open our windows. If you open your windows, then pretty soon here comes a waft of it. Even a simple thing as hanging Christmas lights. My husband had to put on a respirator.
Russ, I know you've heard these issues before. I'm curious, would you want to live in this area?
It's actually Spanish Village and Bridgeton. It's a phenomenal community. You know, one of the concerns we have is what this hysteria is actually doing for Bridgeton and the future of Bridgeton.
Is there something more you could do to make people at least put them at ease a little bit?
Well, anytime I get an opportunity like this one, I accept it, to come on and try to talk, you know, with the community about an alternative perspective that's based in science. The reality is the landfill is safe. It's intensely monitored.
It's my lucky necklace.
Yes, you're the God.
Okay, which shoes real quick?
What's wrong with the ones you got on?
Well, nothing wrong. I have boots.
Well, you're tall enough.
What do you think?
I'll wear the boots. Go for the boots.
Shit kickers.
You're gonna kick butt anyway, so go.
All right.
The track clock. It's a track clock.
Their new motto is "We'll take it from here."
We'll take what from
That's
here?
it. That's what they're trying to pull nationwide. They're trying to do Republic.
I'm here.
We'll take it from here. I think that is so hilarious. We'll take it from here.
I love you, Don.
I love you too, Mom. Okay, give me a kiss. Love you.
Go get him, baby.
I will. Mwah.
The Attorney General filed a major lawsuit against Republic Services that had to do with environmental violations. So the Attorney General has committed to the public that the fire will never be allowed to reach the nuclear waste.
Isn't it funny that the Attorney General is the one that said the fire will never be allowed to meet the radioactive waste? Wouldn't you expect that out of EPA's mouth?
Yeah, it would have felt good if EPA had said that.
But it didn't. He was the first person to say it, and he said it early on.
EPA, it seems to me they're curling up in their shell.
Well, they're scared.
Oh, no. But they don't want to do their job.
They fucked up this site, pardon me, so badly
Yeah.
that they don't know what to
But
do.
then, they're not fooling anybody
No, they're
by
not.
not admitting it. Thank you all. This evening, we've got a couple things on our list of to-dos. The first is I want to talk about some glaring absence in the audience this evening. We do not have the Environmental Protection Agency with us here this evening. Our last meeting, there was an exchange between some of our residents and the EPA. There was shouting, nothing was thrown, but the EPA has let us know that they are concerned about their well-being and our presence. Now, that being said, by Superfund law, they have to be here. And I'd be willing to have a police officer stand at the door if it makes them feel happy.
If they don't come to any future meeting, we will see that as a sign that EPA is deserting us, and that is in violation of the Superfund law.
Yes, Dawn.
I just really quick would like to add that when we did that meeting with EPA, it was in the spirit of cooperation. You know, they come to these meetings and we present them with these facts. Every single thing from the 1 in 50 terminal cancer risk to the 39,000 tons of soil that they're not acknowledging, to the error in the risk assessment, to math errors, we laid it all out for them. And what I want you guys to know is that when they left that room, we took away from them plausible deniability. There is no way, using their own documents and looking at that information, that they left that room not thinking there were mistakes at this site. We said, we want you guys from this moment forward to do the right thing. You have a mandate as our EPA, now you go do what you're supposed to do. So.
Thank you, Dawn.
The mere fact that there is a fire at this site, as long as it continues to burn, we cannot and will not stand by and watch and wait another 10 years while EPA drags their feet and agencies continue to point fingers at each other while our children and grandchildren are being poisoned and dying.
Just Moms St. Louis have traveled to D.C. to meet with EPA Administrator Gina McCarthy. How are you? Okay, I'm so excited. We're ready. Unfortunately, the administrator has refused to meet even after receiving a bipartisan letter requesting such a meeting. Who else has the ability to help the victims? Bill Gates does. He holds 30% of the shares in Republic Services through his investment company, Cascade Investments. This includes 17 million shares worth about $694 million, purchased in 2014 alone. He has the power to convince Republic Services to do the right thing.
My child has been diagnosed with a rare form of alopecia, environmentally triggered. I go to bed worrying, I wake up worrying that my 5-year-old will develop cancer.
Hey guys!
Gina McCarthy, meet today! The moms are not going away! Gina McCarthy, meet today! The moms are not going away! Gina McCarthy, meet today! The moms are not going away! Gina McCarthy, meet today!
We want to drop off a book. Is that okay?
Can't do that. I'm sorry to allow you guys in. I'm sorry about that. If you guys can somehow get in contact with her, then maybe.
If we could get in contact with her, we wouldn't be here, sir.
Hey,
Could you
and
give
I
it to her?
understand.
Would you take
I
it?
can't give it to her.
The moms are not going away! Gina McCarthy, meet today! The moms are not going away!
We gotta watch it.
With a memory book.
The moms are not going away!
Hello, sir.
I'm Tom Reynolds. How are you?
Hi, I live in Bridgeton, Missouri, right next to Westlake landfill. Are you able to give something directly to Gina?
Yes.
I would really love for you to give this picture of my son to her.
Okay.
And tell her that the moms are not going away and that we need her to meet with us today.
3 moms.
I can deliver this to the administrator, and I appreciate your time.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much.
Is she here? Do you think she'll meet or no? No.
That's okay. So we gotta. I'll
You just need 300
We'll go in first.
Okay, you kids stay with me.
I'm just saying the
At
camera.
least
All
they
right.
get them
Are
turned
we ready?
off, don't you think?
Sounds on.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
We have a delivery for Bill Gates Foundation on the second floor.
We have petitions.
So you don't have an appointment?
No.
No, we just, it's a delivery.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But however, your cameras cannot take pictures in the main lobby.
Okay.
They have to turn that off.
Okay, we'll get, okay.
Is it off?
Will you take our stuff?
We will send this to Seattle. Each family will know about it, and we have departments that handle these things.
Okay. We've been trying for like 9 months to reach somebody, just even by phone call. Never.
No one returns our calls.
No.
No one returns our emails.
Bye, honey. Thank you for my shirt. I love it. Bye, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Going to the airport must follow me now.
When I started, I thought if we just make these phone calls here and get these people the information they need, we'll be able to step back and they'll take it from here. I thought somebody would take it because all we needed to do was show them that it was a real problem. And that's not happened. And nobody will take this. We gotta go to Quinny's conference. Please get shoes on. Oh my God, okay, state of Missouri. Larry, I was gonna ask you about the methane in the wells in the North Quarry.
They report methane data to us on a weekly basis, but there's no problems about on a bi-weekly basis.
Okay, that makes sense, because I couldn't figure out where that would be. Maybe it's not up on the page.
So your carbon monoxide goes up points. I don't know that. I haven't seen all the data yet. I can't say that, yeah.
Hello?
Dawn?
Yeah.
The trigger lines are still the order.
Okay.
We figure we're going to have to be back in court again. The changes that need to be made.
Honey, I'm talking to the Attorney General's office.
The ever-changing situation in
Sophie.
the landfill. We don't expect that Republic's lawyers will be at all amenable.
I want to leave. I don't want to live here anymore. I've had enough of living in fear about the health effects to my family, and I won't lie, there's part of me that wishes that I could just pack everybody up and move to Florida and never have to hear about the landfill again. And most people I know in the community that want to get out, they can't do it. Our property value's fallen so much that we can't afford to move out of this house right now.
Concerns tonight about an underground fire in a St. Louis County landfill, a fire that may soon spread to nearby radioactive waste. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources just released a report on the Bridgeton landfill, and News Channel 5's Grant Bissell is live in Bridgeton with what this all means.
The DNR says temperature monitoring probes show part of the North Quarry is heating up. Now, beyond the North Quarry, of course, is some of the radioactive waste, and that really is the major concern here. Now, the DNR is giving the landfill's owner 30 days to come up with a new plan that will guarantee the fire is contained. Meanwhile, nearby resident Dawn Chapman feels progress at the dump has been too slow, and the plan should have been developed a long time ago.
I want to know why in the world are we all, and I mean the state of Missouri and specifically EPA, why are we sitting back and watching this slow-moving disaster happen in the middle of St. Louis County?
The most recent set of data that I got were showing some heat and some CO that was not consistent with what it has been. So I felt it was time to get back on the helicopter and get some infrared of what was going on.
Morning, Matt. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, McGraw.
How bad is this?
There's indications that the fire is now moving through the neck area. It's closer today to the radioactive material than it's ever been.
They say 1,000 feet.
You know, I think 1,000 feet might be conservative.
But no one's taking responsibility and no one's taking the lead. You talk to everybody, governors, senators, congressmen, public officials, Republic Services. They all sort of say, oh, well, this one's looking at it, that one's looking at it. We're going to do another study. Who is in charge of this, and who ultimately do you think is going to step in and say, we need to shut it down now?
Yeah, you know, your guess is as good as mine.
You heard some people earlier in the fall talking about, these were activists and some other folks who were involved, talking about a distance of 1,000 feet or 1,200 feet. It's not true today. It's 2,500 feet.
Okay, well, there's a lot of people on social media, and as you can imagine, a lot of people are listening to every word you say. I want it on the record because they're telling me one thing, I want to hear it from you.
Sure, absolutely. And, you know, here's the difference. I got to be accountable.
If a hazardous materials incident from the landfill or from an accident in the community were to occur, there are two options available for a response: evacuation or shelter in place. Sheltering in place involves staying inside the building and shutting down air intakes where possible to limit exposure to outside air. This is the second time I've read it, actually. It kind of slaps you in the face that they're having to prepare, like there's no solution.
Our chief just parked his car at Target because there's no place to park. Wow. Yeah, it's packed, dude.
This may be a new normal. They're still coming in.
If everyone could just kind of squeeze together and make as much room as possible, it would be greatly appreciated.
Many of you probably heard for the first time about this situation because letters came home from the schools. The news has been covering an evacuation plan. We called this emergency meeting because at this point, we have nothing in front of this fire.
Why do we have to have all of this information in order to do something so common sense as to build a wall?
Because every place they test, they're finding it. There is no place right now to build a wall. They don't know that they're
radiation-free.
That's right.
My honest opinion is, I don't know that there's going to be a barrier wall. I think you all have to accept the fact that there might not be a way to put a barrier wall into that situation.
Thank you for saying it.
And remove it.
I've been here 10 minutes. I've known about this 2 days, and this is insane. This is nuts.
Welcome to my world.
Everything you guys saying is get the bulldozers, get the nuclear waste out, and move. And the fire you can deal with later, but they're never going to do that.
I don't disagree with you.
They're never
I don't
gonna
disagree
do that.
with
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah.
I'm going to have Mark Dietrich come up and answer a lot of the questions that you may have about the emergency planning.
I just want to take a moment to explain what shelter in place and evacuation means. What I would urge you to do is to create your own disaster plan for your family.
Other than the people that are here right now, no one is aware this is even existing, that there is an emergency plan to have in place.
And that's
No
why
one
I'm
is
here.
aware.
We won't know how far anything's going to reach until the event happens. I mean, I understand that that's not an answer that you want to hear, and I apologize for that, but it is the best information that is available.
Next.
I moved from Chernobyl 20 years ago to save my daughter. My in-laws, both of them, died from cancer. My aunt died from cancer. My 30-year-old cousin diagnosed with cancer. My mom, cancer survivor. My dad passed away from brain cancer last year. Do you want that for your children? What about your life? Who will pay for all of those expenses, for the cancer, for lupus, for breathing problem, for asthma? Who will pay for that? I think that the government has to be held responsible, and people were elected to defend your interests. And whose interests are they defending? Money interests. You can't be quiet anymore.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
O my Jesus, forgive us
our sins,
save us from the fires of hell. Lead all souls to heaven,
especially
those most in need of thy mercy.